All right. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. It's good to be back. We've kind of skipped last week a little bit, slacked on playing the game, but we are back here today. And I've got, well, Sander, you're like a time machine. Like, it's April. Can you explain your sweater?
Yes, I can. Hi, Alina. Honestly, I thought we had left off in chapter 6, so I thought I'm gonna come here dressed for the occasion. But this is not chapter 6. This is something different. So I'll just, yeah.
Well, we're just gonna roll with this one,
Yeah.
right? We're just
This
gonna
is
roll
it
with
now.
this one. We are in chapter 5, so it's gonna be like we're mostly going to be inside this time, so we're just gonna pretend that it's snowy outside. Anyways, everybody who's watching, hello, my name is Lena, and I'm here today with Sander and Daphne. Sander is the composer for Deliver Us Mars, and Daphne is the animator for Deliver Us Mars as well. All right, this is where we've stopped. Me and Sophia. I had Sophia on last time. And, oh no, not Sophia, I'm sorry. I'm very, very, very sorry to Daniel and Bus. I've had Daniel and Bus on last time.
I saw Daniel sitting in the corner looking like, what?
All right, should we go visit a hidden Easter egg?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Was it this way somewhere?
I don't know what to say.
Please,
I think it
let's
might
not.
be.
I don't.
Have I already skipped it?
Let's just get to those arcs and continue the mission. Please.
Well, it is hidden.
I found it last time, but I think I'm going in the right direction now.
I'm heading to the arc now.
Good.
Was it here?
And Cat, if you need to talk, I'm here.
Oh, yes, I think it is.
Hi.
There it is.
I'll see you soon.
Tough to find.
Oh, man.
Tough to find.
I get lost here every time. It looks so simple when you're just out on the road, but once you get
I
off the road, it's
know.
like, whoa, there's much more out here than I thought.
Yes. There we go. There's our little friend, my favorite. I feel really bad because I claim to be a huge space nerd, but I cannot say which type of the rover it is. Is it Perseverance?
Oh my gosh, you
it?
got me there. Mission control. Do you know?
Does Daniel know?
I do not.
We all suck. Woogit in chat says it's Perseverance, but some of them, they kind of look similar.
Yeah, I think Perseverance and Curiosity
Yeah.
look pretty identical.
Yeah, I think Perseverance and Curiosity. Okay, yes, okay. All right, let's go
You found
ahead.
him.
I found him. I found this one.
Yeah.
I've missed one, but I found this one. So let's talk about this time of the day, right? Because we were playing on Mars during the day and we saw the red planet, right? But now we're here at night and somehow everything is bluish. Is this really what Mars looks like at night?
Yeah, this is such a fascinating thing that I think Gerben, our art director, found out at some point that the way the atmosphere works to refract light is different than the way it does here on Earth. So while we are used to seeing sunset and sunrise in a particular color, it's different in a different color on Mars, and that's what you see here right now.
Yeah, we found something like an escape pod that has people missing, and so far in the game we've did we just establish? I wanted to say we don't know if people who were in it survived, but we've just heard from Sarah, so there is like no mystery whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's the thing. And Daphne, I always love to say this, you're the person who animated Ayla, right? So how does it feel seeing her in game, in action?
She is very cute still.
Still very cute, nothing changed, right? Still
I
doing.
also love because Sander just mentioned like the menu that she has different animations and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
different stuff. I still remember someone running up to me the day like, we need animations for the main menu. And all right, give me a second.
Did it take a long time? Because I think that was added closer to the end of the game, the different menus, right?
Indeed, and it didn't take that long.
Oh, okay. Did you take an existing ones and kind of like worked on them a little bit?
Yeah, just made it into a loop, adjusted a few things to be able to fit like the different situations of Ayla floating around.
That's cool. I love
Nice.
them. I really, really, really do love them. And Sander, was like the soundtrack different in this part because it's nighttime? Was there less of it? Was the intensity less? as
You
well,
mean
too?
in the menu or?
No, I mean in the game already. Because like right now I don't hear anything. I think right now we basically just hear Mars.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. You did hear music when we started,
Yes.
but we wanted to make sure that we don't overload people musically speaking. So, so there's a bit of music that plays here, and as it finishes, it kind of blends with the environmental ambience, so like the sounds of the wind you hear right now. There's no need to keep hearing the same music over and over all the time. So here, as in many other places of the game, there is room for silence, musical silence at least.
Musical silence, which is used quite, yeah. We use quite a lot of it. I remember in the launch stream interview, you did mention that one of the coolest thing is silence. Indeed. Also, I totally forgot to put us in a different scene here. There we go.
Gosh.
There we are. I mean, people could still see the game. It's just now you see more of it and more of the game. All right.
Nice.
I'm excited. We're about to enter Ark Habitus, right?
That's correct. Here it is.
Massive
I still love
thing.
this field so much.
Yeah, it's such a colossal thing.
Yeah, like when I first joined KeokeN, starring that, but when I joined KeokeN, I was just playtesting the game, and this was the first thing I walked up to because the ship was almost in half ready, and I just looked up to it and I was like, this thing is massive.
Yeah, it is so huge. Very true.
It's pretty amazing. I think the first time you see something like this is insane because I think in Deliver Us the Moon we never really experienced something like that. There was a sequence, yeah, but it was like in 0G, but we never actually walked close to the rocket or any of the vessel this close in terms of gravity, in terms of like being on Earth or on the moon. So.
Very true. Yeah.
Hello, Mars Attacks. Also, Daniel is there in chat looking over it. So, just as usual, disclaimer, if you have any questions either for Sander or Daphne or myself or Daniel, feel free and ask them in chat, and we're here, always ready to answer.
Yeah.
Does it give you a little bit of feeling of anxiety that you're just like being dragged up the elevator towards something you've no idea if this is like on or off, if there are people inside or if there are none of them, you know?
Yeah, right. You don't know what you can expect. Are there people here? Are there
Right.
not? I mean, the previous level was pretty abandoned, but you don't know. Maybe everybody holed up here. You have no idea what happened to all these people. If anything happened at all, maybe they're just living the good life here. You don't know.
The ominous music. There is a little bit of ambience, I think.
That's correct. Yeah. And here's a bit of strange ambience noise here because there's a musical touch to it. It feels like there's a tonality to it, but actually, it's just
Hey.
liquids and gases going through pipes.
You can open up your visor. There's air here.
The facility I passed through also still had oxygen. How is that possible?
No idea.
All
Where's
right.
Sarah?
She's
Never mind.
resting
I want to see
a
him.
bit further down.
I wonder if it blinds him or
There's a door
not.
that you need to hook up to a stream point to go further. I know you might not want to hear it now, but Claire is one of the greatest people I've ever met. I know
Oh,
how much
yeah,
she
I
meant to
totally
Sarah,
forgot.
And I can't even.
Rest in
I'm
peace.
so sorry.
Yeah.
That's just.
So guys.
Go.
I was like, oh, that's right. That's what happened. We just lost our sister as well. I was just like, why is he so ominous? I was just like, why is he being so like sad and weird? And I was just like, okay, that's it. This is what happens when you take a break between like playing a game and then just like coming back to you, like
Ryan,
yeah.
trying to make us feel good.
I see Mitch Interactive says, yeah, Captain Obvious, you're without helmet. Because he says you can take off your visor.
True. Yeah.
Mhm.
Alright.
It would have been funny if he said, "Don't take off your visor."
You okay?
We had a really rough landing. Flared up a road injury.
I'm
Oh
You're
no.
not.
I said I'm fine.
Both of you, what's your opinion
We
on
need to find
Sarah?
some meds.
I feel like
Can you get
Sarah
the RP hooked up?
is
On it.
awakening so many different emotions in so many different people. What are your
Yeah.
feelings about her?
Sarah, she comes from a very difficult place. She's gone through so much in the Livrossi Moon, and she takes a lot of baggage from there into this mission, and that makes her a very problematic character. But she has a very strong sense of duty that allows her to pull through, I think, despite all the hardships here. Yeah, she's difficult, and that makes for a very interesting character, I think.
Daphne,
What do you
what
think?
about you?
I totally agree with that.
I can split one empathy
And
into
I really
two
saw like
and
the
use
people
power
being
up like
divided,
this.
like, oh, I really
Should've been
don't like
handy.
Sarah, or I really like Sarah, and I agree with everything she does. And other people are like, yeah, but it's because of her trauma, and all of them are true, because she's making a lot of weird choices throughout the game. But we're still gonna get to those choices.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, right? It's the choices we make as people aren't always informed by the most rational things imaginable. It's oftentimes there isn't really a plan. We follow our instinct, our emotions, and sometimes they just don't work out. Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Okay, I'm trying to sort out this puzzle. I'm always, it's so difficult to like talk. I think I'm doing this. Oh, I don't have to even pick this up. Anyway, I think, nope. Wait a second. Is the beam controls? This one worked. Do I have to power up another one?
Do you?
I think I do. That was the C one. There we go. Yeah.
There it is.
Did it work? I'm not sure if it did. Maybe.
Let's
Maybe
find
it
out if
just.
the door opens.
It looks red to me. Oh no! Oh, it needs to scan me. Oh, smart. Because
Power
like
the door and the scanner. Yeah.
yes, yeah. It's all wonderful. Okay, we're waiting for them now while they're walking there. Daphne, question: is Alex pretty much the same set of animations as Ayla, or are they different?
Really not. They actually have completely different skeletons,
Oh my gosh.
so they can't use the same animations either, because
Okay.
they have a very different bone structure. So retargeting for those wasn't really an option.
Okay.
And Alex is also based on the skeleton of the Ace from Delivers the Moon.
Oh. And
That's
also,
right. Yeah.
Alex doesn't have an antenna. Does it mean they're a different animation of drones then? Like Alex is an older version and Ayla is like the newer version of AAC drones.
Exactly.
This is mind blowing to me. This is the attention to detail, because when you think about it, wouldn't it be easier to just reuse the like same animations and skeleton?
That's what you would think, but on the other hand, we want like a lot of new functions for Ayla. So indeed, for example, the antenna, but also she has like this
I can't
really
say that I have.
this really tiny screwdriver that she can use,
Right?
It is.
and it just changes the entire structure. So we need something new for her.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. I love this one.
What is that?
I didn't even know that.
Whatever it is.
amazing.
It's important enough to
I'm happy I'm the only one who learned something new today.
No, we all have
We're in the middle of the bridge too.
we all have our secrets
It
here.
looks active.
Yeah.
There's people up there.
Emite, hello and welcome. Sander, I have a question for you, because I also made a reel where I showcased Delivers Mars in various languages as well, because we have
Right, are there any
6 supported languages where they're completely like full audio is available, right? So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
English, French, German, Russian, Japanese, and simplified Chinese. I think I got them all right.
Yeah, that's correct. You got him. You got him all.
How did you were you the person who was putting all of them in the game and also like testing them and whatnot? How did it work? Because English is pretty straightforward, right? You speak it, you understand it, you can figure out where it goes. But how do you test it with other languages? For example, completely different, like Japanese or simplified Chinese, for instance.
Yeah. So there's, I mean, first of all, it takes so many people to get this to work. In the first place, we gotta set up a system so that we can, switch out different or use different languages depending on your language settings. So Daniel actually is the one who set it up, I believe. And that allowed us to when we trigger dialogue in the game, we actually just trigger a container, and that container changes its contents based on the language you've selected.
I don't think we should celebrate. That's not a good idea.
We don't have a choice.
After that, once the system is up and running, you gotta plan everything out, because you have to organize so many different people from all over the world in order to get this to work. So we needed to have the script ready at a particular point and have it all organized in such a way so that translators could get to work in it efficiently. From there on, it needed to go to script adapters, and we needed to do some casting for all the other languages to make sure that we find the right actors for all the other languages for our characters. At which point, things can finally slowly start to get recorded once we are able to send over the actual English timing, because that is such an important thing here, to get the timing.
The timing should be right. And then who is then testing it? Like, I mean, are there separate teams of QA testers that test it so that they have to speak the language as well to figure out if things are right and at the correct timings and sound well?
For sure, yeah. Frontier has been absolutely incredible in this regard. They've done a lot of localization QA to make sure that we haven't forgotten any. There were a bunch of cases where we overlooked one VO asset, for example, and so the English asset would still play when you played this obscure bit of dialogue in French, for example. And they catch that, and it requires such diligence and patience to test everything, and I really, really, really appreciate that they put in so much effort in that.
Were there any funny, hilarious moments where like the translation was wrong or weird? Can you recall anything like that?
I don't have any specific examples, but they were definitely there. Although luckily we caught all of them before the actual recordings.
Sure.
Which is also to Frontiers and Keywords credit, who did the translations or localization. They're quite diligent, and luckily they found all of these errors before we actually recorded some stuff. Although now that I actually think of it, I do remember in the German version, the translation for the pickaxe that you use, the climb. In German they have 2 different words, and apparently we used the wrong one, or we had the wrong translation, so it meant a different kind of tool, and that didn't really make sense. So that is actually one of the few lines that we had to re-record because the translation didn't make sense, and we just didn't know until our testers could really play it out in game.
Right, that is so much fun. I have a question from chat. Daphne, maybe this is for you as well. You can answer this one. I guess I'm not the first one who asks this, but have you guys considered to add VR support to the game?
Well, am I the one to be asked this question?
Well, I mean, have we considered adding VR support to Deliver Us Mars? Would it be? Would it be like, in case of the VR support, like, to answer this we don't have the news to say that it's coming, right? I mean, if you want to stay in touch with the latest updates, always follow us on our socials because that's where we post the latest stuff. But let's theorize a little bit. If Deliver Us Mars had a VR support, how different would it be animation-wise? What kind of challenges would there be? What kind of things would have to be different?
That is a good question. I mean, the entire set, depending on if you are first person or third person, there's quite some difference there. Because for one, you're really focusing on the arm movements, and sometimes a lot of games do this where the arms are actually detached from the body. They're just floating there somewhere because it looks better with the camera. So they're basically faking arms.
Right.
And for third person, as we are using, you really need the body movements. And the arms, they do need to be in place because else it's gonna look very weird.
It's just like the body with the floating arms around. But yeah, I guess I've seen a couple of the VR games out there, and it's just like a set of hands that are floating around, basically disconnected from your body. Like they don't even have the arms. It's basically just hands,
Exactly.
right? But they have to be, I guess, simulated. So like when you press a certain button, right, the hand movement that you see on screen, it would have to match, right? Is that a challenge?
I mean, the VR systems nowadays, they actually have a lot of things built in already, as far as I know.
Yes.
So it really is just a matter of making sure that everything is built together the right way. But I'm really not an expert on VR games.
All right, then. A question is, would you wanna make a Deliver Us Mars version but VR?
Yes.
Yeah. I would totally walk around. How would climbing look in VR though? That would be scary. Imagine if you like just look down there, you're climbing and then you look down and it's just, I would never play that one. I'm super scared of
I mean,
heights.
I'm already so intimidated just looking in third person at Habitas. I would
Right?
look at it in first person.
Yeah, it really grounds you in a particular area, right? And it really makes you feel like you're in there even more than we can do in third person.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely something important or interesting there in VR.
I have a little bit. Yeah, sorry.
Consider it. Yes.
Motion sickness incoming. I guess it's just like I would be just terrified of heights. I have a question. The question is, I found like early in the game a little bottle which are pills that can it's a delayed period by 19 days, and this is something that there was an accent on. How important is it for the story of the game? Because it feels like such a random thing to pick up.
That's an interesting question. I think I might be able to help out here. So one of the struggles of the people who colonized Mars here is that they, and I believe this is explained later on, very soon even, is that they are under a lot of stress and under a lot of pressure, and that takes its toll psychologically and emotionally and mentally. And I believe we'll be hearing that soon, but people are just having trouble imagining a future for their children here, and that just makes it everything related to pregnancy or building a future just seems very uncertain. But at the same time, they need to build a colony and establish a new beginning for humanity here, so they also kind of have to, and there's this weird balance between, okay, so we know we need to, spawn the next generation, but also we're really not sure about what's going to happen here on Mars, so we're having a really rough time.
My personal view on it, because the laying period doesn't really necessarily mean preventing pregnancy, but I think it's more like everyone is just working themselves to bone, like everyone's just overworked. And if you need to operate a few patients, if you need to do like very intense work all day, you don't want to walk around with your very
That is an interesting take. would you want to start a new human colony on another planet? Be parents to the first
I'm sorry.
human on Mars, like firstborn human on Mars?
You hear the same voices in the hallways. We've put
What do you think,
years into
Daphne?
this place, and
Would you
it's
want to be
not
that?
working. There's not enough space, not enough food,
Why
not
not?
enough progress.
Too many
Same
uncertainties.
quiet.
Yeah.
It's just not that simple.
People left
Yeah.
their families.
It's
behind. You left
I
your
can
family
relate to
come
that.
here.
Yeah, I mean, but then again,
Sometimes
when if you have
someone-
made it to Mars, then apparently you've already tackled a lot of uncertainties.
Isaac,
Yeah,
wait. I'm
not all
sorry.
of them, not at all. But it means you are in a position to tackle at least a lot of these things, and maybe that also inspires enough confidence to start thinking about the future and not just survival.
Yeah.
Like
So you
getting
mentioned-
yourself into trouble is one thing, but getting
Yeah.
the entire future generation into trouble is another thing.
Is another thing, yeah. So you mentioned Tractive brings an interesting point. If you can't fix Mars, it should be the easier task to fix Earth. And I think this is the kind of... It's a good perspective, though. Like, they had all of those arcs, and Earth is closer to the moon than Mars is.
Yeah. So why did they do that?
Why did they do that? Yeah.
Well, the technology, one of the things we're trying to tell in this story is that the technology isn't really the problem here. There's the technology to make things better. The real issue is in how we, as a species,
Ryan,
handle that
found
technology.
an entire
And that is
section
one of
McCarthy
the,
transformed into a makeshift prison.
The key themes here, like
Violence,
what,
destruction,
how do we as a species
stealing.
move forward and make sure that we
They're all
do
here
the right
together.
thing,
Why would they do this to each
not just
other?
for the planet, because we
Doesn't
can
make
fix
any
the planet,
sense.
but also for ourselves. I mean, maybe we cannot fix the planet, but even if we could,
Maybe.
it's ultimately about our own survival as a species. And the folks of Outward who took the arcs to Mars no longer believed that they could use
There's
the
a pharmacy
technology of
here.
the arcs to save humanity. They could save Earth, but not humanity.
Door's locked. But I can hook it up to the stream point to get us
Always
in.
seen it in a way like they had the technology to save Earth, but only part of it.
Right.
So they would have to separate a certain group from the rest of them. And they thought, yeah, if we're just gonna make like our perfect little area and everything's gonna be fine, the rest of the world's gonna try to demolish it and attack it.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yep, we'll try another planet, and at least they will have to travel a bit before they can
But
attack
if
it.
yeah, that's like MH in chat says, I think the main issue to fix Earth is politics and the lack of global thinking.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I agree to that, but then I also have questions. If there was a lack of global thinking that Outwardians thought would be perfect for Mars, then the methods in which people were brought to Mars are not quite like calling for a good start. Because if we remember the story of Deliver Us the Moon, people were basically brought there by force, some of them. They were kind of said, yeah, you're either going with us or you are dying here on the moon. You know?
Very true. Yeah, there's division here on the colony as well, as we will learn. It is not so easy, not just technologically or environmentally, but also just the way they've been brought here. Not everybody agreed. That's very true. Yeah.
This is an interesting point, and I had a lot of conversations about it with my community when I played it on my own stream as well too, because we had those heated arguments, especially when we got later onto the game and learned more about the story. The arguments will get so heated. I think we had like the whole debates going on about like what was the right thing to do and what was the wrong thing to do as well too.
Did you feel like you were able to ultimately
Pretty handy,
refer to
Ayla.
some sort of objective
Got any other
moral
tricks up your-
standard by which to determine the right or wrongness?
I think I see some medication here.
I don't think we have. I was the one who sided with
Good job.
MacArthur, because like everybody hates on MacArthur. MacArthur is like boo-hoo, this like person who did everything. But then there is
Everyone just left the stream like
yeah. But then in one part of the later on in the game, I'm not gonna spoil it. There is one.
Green for these folks?
He talks to Isaac, And his words actually made sense. The things that he tells Isaac, he explains why he made certain decision, and I went, yes, exactly. Now I get it. I don't agree with his methods, but his sentiment I quite share. And then everybody was like, no, you're a monster.
Yeah. That's such a nice thing about the way Raynor wrote MacArthur here. He isn't a black and white villain. You might disagree with his methods, you might disagree with his end goals even,
Look,
but
I'm the only
still,
one that can work the stream point, and you need to go and help Sarah.
Yeah.
still there is a way where you can understand where he's coming from and what he's trying to do here. He's not trying to be an evil guy. He's trying to do the right thing.
I will.
Except his right comes from a bit of the.
Oh, my favorite moment in comment.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in comment.
That's where the conversation starts, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Ayla right now in this scene. She looks down,
Oh yeah. I love this. Ooh.
and then she's like, "Oh no!" This is. I'm sorry
So
for
good.
interrupting you here, but this is like my favorite part, and I'm happy that you're here, Daphne, because I had moments like that, and I was like, "This is so perfect." There's so much personality in her. You're a drone. You can like levitate, and then she looks down, and she's like, "Oh no, hell no, I'm not going there."
I remember when I was adding like Ayla to all the scenes. And like moments like this, I still remember sitting next to Raynor and going like, are you okay if I just make her look over the edge and turn backwards? And he was like, sure, go for it.
I love that. Question for you. Do you want me to show Leander's hidden room, or do we continue forward?
I have never been able to solve it, so please tell
All
me.
right, let's go. So now we have everything we need. It takes a little bit of time because you need to take those splitters down here. There we go. So one of them we're taking here, and then we need another one. Don't tell me you've never been there either, Sana.
Gosh. I have seen it, but only in editor mode. So when I could just,
All right, so see,
goes
we've
through the
opened those
walls.
doors. You have to do all of that kind of stuff. You have to talk to Ryan as well too. And then you have to remember that actually there was something underneath there. So then we come all the way down here. Oh, I love this one. This is my favorite. This Easter egg was already in like the first demo that we showed on Gamescom. It was already in.
Very true, yeah.
The room looked different though, but the Easter egg was already there.
Oh, I love this.
All right, so we're placing this one here. I think this should work. So then, Ayla, please. Then we connect. Then I think we connect it to this one.
There we go.
Something's missing. Maybe I can use the splitter that got me in here.
Yeah, basically, Kathy, she spoils everything for you, but... There we go! Now
Oh
the
my
door
gosh.
is open. You get in, and then you can easily still miss it. You're like, what is the toilet? What is in there? But then it's not it. And then you get in, and then look at that. It's just...
Oh my gosh. This is it.
This is it. This is Leander's, what is it? Prison cell that says never pay. Do you remember what it was about?
Never pay.
I am not sure.
Wow.
Never
Well, we
pay.
know the people here on the colony weren't treated so well.
Well, the thing is though, it's like basically I think this is Bulgarian. Because a lot of those things, Mars is a lie. It says like Mars is a lie, Mars is a lie, Mars is a lie. I think this is Mars is a lie in Bulgarian because Vic comes from Bulgaria. So this is like a thing in there, and then there is also Bulgarian like I'm locked down, and then there's some German, and this is us actually.
There it is. Nice.
Yes, this is us, and we can fly closer with Ayla, and we can have like a closer look
There we go.
at all of us.
I'm the one in the red.
This is Daphne right
Oh,
here.
there it is. Yeah.
Oh, Sander, you're right next to. Yeah, there we go. There. This. I swear to God, I didn't plan it this way. It's pure coincidence. And there's even Daniel right there as well too.
Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
don't
there's
tell me you're
me.
right next to me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's me as well. So fun fact for those is that not all of us were in the picture when we've taken the picture, because many of us work remotely. We could not get all of us in the studio at the same day to take the picture. So the idea is many of us, like myself, I don't remember, possibly, was it Darren or was it Herben?
Darren is photoshopped, yeah.
Yeah, like we've taken them separately, and then while taking a group picture, we've left some places to Photoshop people in, so it looks like a big group picture. But it's like not all of us were there. But this is like my favorite thing ever. You can see everyone. There we go.
Nice. So there it is. Now we know how to get in.
Now you know how to get in.
Power of Photoshop, indeed.
The power of Photoshop. Yeah, this room was a lot of... I'm gonna break everything. This room was a lot of fun to make, and this room was a lot of fun to get into. And, yeah. Not many people can get into it, because most people, after the cutscene with Ryan, they're just like, okay, let's go. We're moving forward. Yeah, moving on.
Time to find that medicine for Sarah.
Oh, yeah! This is the objective. I was like...
She needs help.
She is
First
sick.
we forget her sister died, and we forget someone else is dying.
Yeah, that is the thing. All right,
So many irresponsible people in this game.
Yeah.
It's okay, we got this. Kathy is just having tons of fun finding all the secrets of the arcs, so I guess it works out.
Being an astronaut.
Yes. This is what we're doing here. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, whoops. I'm not good with MPT power. As you can tell. I think I got everything from there, right? I don't think we need anything else. We got you here. Yes. Should be fine. Alright. There you are.
I think Leander was first making this puzzle. I managed to break it like 10 times.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I would playtest this puzzle, I would break it.
This puzzle was, it was a challenge.
Yeah.
I think this entire area is Ramco's personal nightmare, because, and maybe Daniel's as well, because the way this area broke in, like, I think it broke in like so many different ways as well too.
Yeah, it broke in so many ways. You remember the cinematic right at the right after you came in? We had so many synchronization issues because the camera actually goes out of the entire arc at some point.
Right.
And so parts of the level would be unloading, and we needed to load them back in. It was just there was just so much going on, and Unreal couldn't really handle that. So whenever we made a video render for Busami to synchronize the audio with, there was always a bit that was just out of sync, and for the longest time we just couldn't fix it. I think it was ultimately in like November.
Oh wow.
That we finally found a way.
Oh wow.
All the time to really dive into this and get it sorted. But, oh my gosh, it was this level is challenging.
And this is also funny because this is the level that we used as part of the demo, right? So this is what people got to play, and it looked very different, and it just faced so many iterations as well too. Just this one tiny area that...
Humanity evolves because we adapt, not because we stay inert in the face of adversity. If we never try,
I feel bad for MacArthur because
that's the price we pay.
He just wants to have a colony of little happy babies on Mars, and nobody's having babies, and he just sits on the chair just like,
yes.
This is not how I imagined it.
Isaac.
No.
The dust storm hit Herschel hard. Until the damage is repaired, we won't have any alloys to continue the housing project.
What about Odom?
We're drafting up a ration plan to see us through the next few months, but it leaked, and people are refusing to work.
It leaked.
I'll talk to Rosa. This homework nonsense has gone on long enough.
Why didn't you let her have the psychiatric ward? She could help people.
She didn't try to help people. She tried to find weaknesses in the fence. But I'll handle Rosa.
It's such a tragedy as well, right? I mean, they could have accomplished so much together if they just aligned.
If they were just on the same page, yeah. So the first thing you should bring to Mars is a therapist, is a shrink, to take care of it all.
if possible, not one that has been kidnapped and is out there against her will.
Don't kidnap your psychiatrist.
Don't do
She will
that.
not
Yes.
go for that price.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love this. Like how much. I might use the wrong terminology, like reverb. Isn't this part like echo? Like I put in the pickaxe, and it's just like.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is such a cool place. So, we did a lot with delay here because it's such a...
This is my favorite. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
different sounds as well too. It's not the same. Wow.
Yeah, there's, you know, every time we trigger such a sound, there's like a bucket of variations and we randomize pitch and volume on these. So it sounds like you're doing the same thing, but it's never exactly the same. So it doesn't get super repetitive and monotonous. But all throughout the atrium here, Bus and I, we set up additional sound sources, and they receive the audio signal of whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's you know, walking or climbing. The audio signal that's transmitted by each and every one of these actions is received by invisible actors placed throughout the atrium from top to bottom. And the sound is repeated there, but delayed, and so you get this effect of hearing the sound travel through the atrium.
This is such a cool sound. Like, this is fantastic to me. Also, Buzz, last stream, told me a very curious fact. Something that I'm not used to in video games while playing them. So you can pick the audio preset, and usually it's just monitor, TV, headphones, right?
Sure,
But Deliver's Mars also had streaming. And he just, like, put it on streaming. I was like, what? It had that this entire time? And Baz goes, well, yes. So... Can you tell me again, what does it do? Like, they're a little bit different, right?
Yeah, so they are essentially different mix setups, and they allow us to make the mix more or less dynamic based on the platform that you're playing on. So, for example, when you're playing on headphones, you can hear so much detail that's because of the way the headphones are so close to you in your ears. But once you start playing on monitors, for example, they're a bit further away from you. When you play on TV speakers, they usually have the way they, how do I put this? The way different frequencies are made audible is also slightly different. So we do a little boost here and there in either some frequencies or overall volume, some compression to glue it all together a little more. So basically, the headphones mix is the most dynamic. It has, oh my gosh, there you go.
I hate this part. Continue talking
It's
while I
down.
fall down. It took me literally
Oh my.
forever.
So the headphone mix is the most dynamic one, right? It's where you hear the most difference between the softer sounds and the louder sounds. But the television mix also has a bit of distortion, even to make things a little crisper. It can come out much more clearer, especially the lower frequencies. This is a psycho-acoustic trick that Bus found.
Nice.
Which is such an ingenious move. It makes things so much clearer when you're playing on television or or a soundbar even. And then the streaming mixing preset kind of does the same thing. It does a few things with the overall loudness to make sure that it is closer to what streaming platforms will already do to your audio. So basically, it's a precaution for us, or a preemptive measure for us to have more control over what things are going to sound like when they're streamed.
I love that, but I also hate this part. I also am playing this on mouse and keyboard, and it's just, I'm just here hoping that I can. Okay, this. Daphne,
Nice.
how
Yeah,
good
the
are
trick
you?
is to not let go.
Daphne, how good are you with climbing and platforming?
Well, I had a bit of experience with platforming, but let's just say I've died more times in this game than I would like to admit. And not only because I died because of wrong choices in the climbing, but also because you just saw like the dying animation of her falling to the ground.
Yes.
I still remember at first she just had a rigid body.
Oh.
Which basically means that all her joints just started flailing as soon as she would die. And we would have these scenes of her just going like a ragdoll, just stumbling.
Oh, Really?
down
Just
the
like,
mountains.
do you have any footage of that anywhere somewhere still?
Probably.
Okay, just off stream sometime. Just send it over to me. I wanna see that. I wanna like.
Yes. I could also just break this back.
So,
Put
so
it
basically,
ragdoll.
what you're saying that you also had to animate the ragdoll body of her dying so that it doesn't look hilarious, right? So it looks kind of close to life in a way.
Yeah, basically, I tried to make a bit of a blend between the ragdoll and the normal animation instead of having it be 100% ragdoll, because 100%
Yeah,
ragdoll doesn't work. It doesn't work well with realistic
It's very
physics.
floppy.
Yeah.
Wait, I love this. I'm learning, like, in a way, I even am happy that I failed that climbing part. So we could talk about it. So we could
Now
talk
you know.
about Kathy's ragdoll while she, like, falls down. Would you ever create a version of Deliver Us Mars where, whereas you die, you have to start from the very beginning?
Hard mode.
Like a
hardcore mode.
super hardcore mode, yeah.
I would try that. I would love that.
So like you have to, like the only way you make it through the entire game is you actually don't die ever. Like you nail
Yeah.
everything.
Would be more realistic.
Mhm. I mean, I would be up for that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I do like some
It's
difficulty.
a fun challenge.
Right. Maybe this is something I should pitch.
Yes.
Beautiful cutscene. There's so much going on in this one cutscene,
Yeah.
right? I think this is the first time Sarah and Kathy are together. And also, how do you say that in English? When the silence is so loud,
right.
it's deafening, right? Between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the same type of cryo beds that I was in on the moon.
Oh.
I really tried to fix the MPT with the last bit of helium-3 there was left. Same bit of helium-3 that your dad needed to jumpstart the Ark and bring you here. It caused a 5-year blackout. One man, one choice.
That's from the trailer.
It affected everyone.
One man.
One choice.
For me, like all the dialogue is already going through my head before they're.
Oh, really? So you could basically just quote the entire
Having
game
good
at this point.
intentions
I
isn't
can quote
hard,
the entire
Kathy.
game.
Yeah.
Plenty of well-intentioned people have single-handedly caused so much destruction. The hard part is knowing the difference between what's right and what's wrong.
I feel bad for Kathy. She's just like staying there feeling guilty, and she's being told off for what her father did, even though she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
She's just there. Look at her eyebrows. She's like, oh.
Yeah, I feel for Kathy in that scene. But it's also
Yeah.
guilt, right? I mean, she knows she's
Yeah.
not just doing this to bring the arcs back to Earth.
Know what this place
She's
could
also
really
here
do with?
to maybe
barricades.
reconnect with somebody.
Oh, I really love this shot.
Yeah, this is cool.
This is a cool shot.
This almost feels
Alien? Looks like one hell of a science fiction machine, all right. I think we can safely assume who created this.
20 attempts.
All right, let's
So
split up.
satisfying when it did work out. Just reading the chat.
Ooh.
I'll see if I can crack the main terminal.
This is cool.
Ryan, check if we can use that
Nice.
elevator to bypass the stairway.
I love
There's
this.
so many subtle
What do you want me to
nuances in the cinematic there. So good.
Maybe you can figure out what this thing actually does? Sure as hell is it meant for flight.
Question. Why is it green? What causes it to be luminescent like that? Do you know? Is there a science behind this?
I mean, she is gonna say it in a bit.
All right,
Also,
let's hear. Let's hear what she has to say. You got me.
Does anyone know why this water looks so...
Pretty? If I recall from my days of college, I think that's
Oh, plankton, not algae.
Plankton?
Yeah, we used to have beaches that would light up the same way at night.
Sure.
No, really. We saw it on one of our first trips together. Didn't we, honey? She was a bit more enthusiastic about it back then.
I super love this part. Plankton. When he says plankton, I'm like, who brought plankton to Mars? Like, this is such a
Somebody was
specific...
responsible for all the plankton here.
Yeah, it's just like somebody's job was to like make sure plankton survived the trip so that it can be used in this part out here. All right.
Days on doing it.
Yeah.
For days going around with like these little water bottles. Plankton.
Plankton. This is a good place for us. Unless, can you recall how long till the next chapter? Is it long? Do we have to
How
do
long
stuff?
to the next chapter? I
Yeah.
would say at least 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Do you want to play till the end of this chapter?
Yeah, sure.
What say you, Daphne? Let's do it.
Ayla,
All right.
you got a readout on the irradiance from these mirrors. If this is what I think it is, 600 watts from the setting sun. That's impressive.
I want to hear the process of how two of your cats became Ayla's and Ayla's noises, because I try to hear your cat saying her, but I've you know, I try so hard.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me think back about that. Okay, so first of all, we got to be able to record their actual voices. Our cats back at home, they are very chitty chattery, and it's a little. Sometimes one of them is like a little bird. Sometimes it's trilling a lot, really like kind of stuff. So that already gave a pretty cool basis to work with.
Sarah,
But after that, we just mangle it
alignment unit for the Ark.
a lot
can use it to
in so
reconnect
many
our
ways. Mostly
When we're ready
with
for
a process called grain delays, where we just sort of warp tiny little different parts of each of their little vocalizations to turn them into something that is a little bit more robotic.
This looks like a water pump system.
So how did that go? Like, did your cat just sit at the window, like staring at the birds, and you were just sitting next to her with a microphone?
This was actually a day where it's a little embarrassing. I forgot to feed them. I forgot to give them first dinner. They get 2 dinners every day. They're spoiled. But I forgot first dinner, and so when I came downstairs later that night, I realized, oh my gosh, you guys, I haven't fed you yet.
Sarah, can we?
And they were very vocal about that. They're very they know that closed mouths don't get fed. So they they made it very clear that they wanted food and they wanted it now. Of course.
So instead of giving them food, you just took out the microphone.
Yeah, so instead of giving them
There's
food,
no way this elevator
I
works.
took out my microphone and thought, okay, this is it. This is the
Really?
perfect opportunity.
With
You
our track record?
monster.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
But in my defense, Nola was also there. She was preparing
The stream
food for
receiver
the
is
for the
destroyed.
cat. So while she was busy with the food, I could
Right.
Can we reconnect our
go after
valves?
them and mic
It's not going
their
anywhere.
little purrs and trills and
Panopticon
whatnot.
will have to wait.
Nice.
It was fun, yeah. Recording animals is such a specific
honey.
thing to do. I have so much respect for people
Panopticon, isn't that
who
a
go
term
into
for
the
something
zoo
like
and
a
record the
central oval
lions
tower?
and the birds and whatnot. There's such a
Never mind.
patience involved, and it's
I'm in.
you're interacting with a living creature, and it's so difficult to get that right in a controlled environment. It's
Was
difficult.
it you who told me this? Was it one of you people who told me this? I don't remember who, but the sound for the dinosaurs for the Jurassic World is basically a recording of a lost baby elephant in
Oh, yeah.
Africa.
Aw.
Yeah, so like it was a baby elephant in the wild that got lost from mom. Don't worry, I heard the story that mom was found, but the cry of the baby elephant was so desperate that they luckily recorded it and caught it, and they like changed it a little bit. So this is how the dinosaurs sound like for all of us now humans, basically.
Yeah.
A little baby elephant. Which is so sad.
It's one of the
If I understand
more
the
interesting
rest,
things about
I
sound
should
design. You
get
can
some
take
analytical
one
data
sound
if
and
I press
you
this.
usually need to do a little bit of work, but by placing it in a different context, it gets an entirely different meaning. or it just subverts
guys reading what I'm
people's
reading?
expectations of what it is that they're
This
listening
machine
to, and that's such an
completely
interesting thing
converts
about
atmospheric input
sound.
into the chemical compound of Earth.
Conversion efficiency is close to lossless.
Shit.
This might be our mother lode. I mean, this technology could restore Earth's atmosphere. We could heal our planet.
Well, Earth could definitely use a couple of these oversized bad boys.
I love how they're just like, yeah, we found what we needed.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's
Back
go.
home now. That's
let's go.
it. That's what we need.
We got it.
An increased oxygen signature. Could that mean?
People.
Well, then we should go and check it out right away.
We need to finish our assessment because...
But we're losing precious time.
For what?
To find out what happened. Shouldn't one of us scout ahead?
If there are colonists still alive, we have no idea how
She's
they'll
so
react to our
sus.
presence. We need to be prepared.
Kathy's super suspicious.
Things haven't exactly looked
Yep.
peachy so far.
If I could just take the rover, get to the facility, we can use that
Kathy.
information.
We're going over there tomorrow as a team, prepared. It's an order.
Sarah's
Also,
right, Kat.
I'm just like, you just made it to Mars. Wouldn't you want to do a little bit of like sightseeing?
Yeah.
Just at least a week before
Or
you
get
go
some sleep.
back?
Get some beds.
Exactly.
Take first watch. You two get some sleep.
It's been
You
a
don't-
long day, Kathy.
Right? Ooh, this is such a cool. I remember, Daphne, you were also showing this one in the development of Ayla animation in this part as well, of like how great she behaves too.
You know what I'm talking about? The case.
The case. Ooh.
Here we go.
All right, let's go.
There's a good explanation for this.
I can't wait to hear it.
How did they not see me? We literally just like sneak in behind them. All right, let's go. Let's get in. This is such an intense part. The soundtrack is also like this, like a throbbing sound. It's just, you know,
Oh yeah.
it's just there.
I had to
Flash
design a
forward,
lot of
please.
throbbing here. First throbbing was too... I was gonna say too deep, but that's wrong. But it is the truth.
It is the truth. It's right there. Like you can hear it. It's just
Yeah.
there in my ears. Oh wait, were they
We
here?
had to have some
Oh,
sort
there they are.
It would be nice to know in advance that this was gonna be it.
They totally saw the light.
Only me
Yeah.
and Maria knew. I didn't want to alarm anyone.
So when would I find out? As soon as you want me to shoot someone's face off?
No, I was gonna tell you. I had to make sure that Kathy wouldn't find out.
Oh no.
Sorry, please.
No. This is not an Imzadi moment.
I think this is the first time we also see
If we find any
Ryan
of the Lunar Council
be very
alive, do you think they're
serious
just gonna come along peacefully.
and not full of jokes.
But that's why Maria wanted Kathy here to begin with,
It's
isn't it?
the level where
Police get Isaac
tensions
to come
really start
peacefully.
to rise between the team members. We've just seen it between Kathy and Sarah, and now it's also between Sarah and Ryan.
Yes.
But also on the outward side of things, now we're discovering
And I'm sorry that I
some
didn't
really
tell you.
huge divisions
Please,
between the
please
people
don't
who
tell Kathy.
who live here.
Also talking about divisions and choosing sides. I'm with Ryan.
Yeah.
Like this whole game,
You should
I'm
get
with
some
Ryan.
rest.
With the whole game, without spoiling much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're with him with the whole game?
Yeah.
All right. I'm scared of you now, Daphne.
Sorry.
Oh, head back. Whoops. I'm just taking my sweet time. Hopefully Ryan is a slow walker. All right. I'm gonna make it. No, I'm not disoriented. You are. Am I lost? We've so lost. Oh, never mind. There we are. I made it.
Ada, quick, they're coming.
Of how menacing Alex is in this part.
No, and the music is also very menacing as well too. This is so cool that they're just like, even Ayla,
Nothing to see here.
just asleep. Ooh.
There it is.
This
There
is
it is.
You got away.
Level.
This is it.
Nice.
We've made it to chapter 6. Ooh, snow! There we go.
The
Now you
snow,
can.
here we go.
Now it's finally justifiable. Let's go. We're in the
Excellent.
snow here. This is
Glad we made it to the snow. It wasn't all for nothing. Nice.
It was the, how do you call it? What's the word for it? When in the movies there is an Easter egg to hint on something that's happening in the future. There's a word for it.
To what? Oh, to hint on something.
Oh, it was foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
Foreshadow. There we go. You were foreshadowing, Thunder. You were foreshadowing chapter 6. So nobody knew, but this was like an elaborate plan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To foreshadow the snow. Is there anything else that you would want to say to people watching, live or recorded?
Sorry, live or recorded?
People are watching this live, but people will also watch it as a recorded
like
thing on
that.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So what would you want to say to those people? Sorry if that confused you.
Right. Well, what is there to say? Yeah, I mean, we've just crossed the halfway mark through this game, and stakes are rising here. Tensions are rising, and I think we're about to get into some interesting territory here. And yeah, I think if you like what you've seen so far, we got a lot more in store for you.
I'm just curious which side everyone's gonna choose in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.